OK, let's talk about denial of service and firewalls. Last time we talked a lot about DNSSEC. Won't go through all of it again, but remember that we extended DNS in a backwards compatible way, and the two big ideas were verifying records with signatures and using certificates to delegate trust from the root down the tree to child name servers. And we implemented it using some additional data types, and we used NSEC to prove that records don't exist. That's what happened last time. So today is actually a two-topic lecture. The first half is all about denial of service, and the second half is all about firewalls. They're somewhat related topics, but I think mostly separate. So we'll start with denial of service. We'll look at different types of denial of service, where it can happen. We'll look at one specific example, and then we'll talk about general defenses. Then we'll move on to firewalls. So the first half is all about denial of service. This is a term you've probably already heard about, but let's define it more formally. There's a property that we have somewhat mentioned, but we haven't really formally looked at yet, and it's the property of availability. So it's not confidentiality or integrity, but there's another property called availability, and the idea is that if I'm offering a service to my users, I want that service to be online and available for my users. I don't want my users to see an error when they try to access my service. So denial of service is an attack on availability. It's an attacker taking this property that we want and trying to take it away. They want to make the service unavailable for users. That's what denial of service is. Why might someone want to do this? It's for all the same reasons that we've talked about attackers wanting to do attacks. They might want to do it for business reasons. They might want to take down a competitor so that everyone uses their service. They might want to make money. They'll take a service down and say, I'll bring it back up if you pay me money. They might do it to make a political statement. They might do it for politics, for revenge, for fun. There's all these different reasons, similar to how all the attacks we've talked about can happen for all these different reasons. But that's the more formal definition of denial of service. And you've probably seen denial of service in the news. So I won't read all of these articles, but you can see that there's different motivations for doing denial of service. So here's an article where someone was selling the availability attack. They were saying, if you pay me $10 per hour, I'll take down a service of your choosing. That's something that some people might be doing online. There are extortion attacks where they take down a service and they offer you to bring it back up in exchange for some money, thousands of dollars perhaps. There are different goals that people might want to do where, I don't even know what this one is. It seems like they're taking a service down and then explaining the outage using a different email, and that email is a phishing attack. So they're combining two different attacks. So there's all these different things you can do that lead to denial of service, and they can happen for lots of different motivations.